Well, hello and welcome. Hello, Plan to Create, Kino and Lee. Well, Plan to Create, you're free from tonight. Regional Victoria get their freedom tonight. They come out of lockdown. Those of us that are city slickers, we're still locked up. Hello, Christine. How are you? I hope you are. I called it a boring stream because I don't really have a lot to talk about. It was another quiet day on the Twitter front. There wasn't even an Instagram live. There was a couple of Instagram messages and a couple of Twitter messages. I've got a few things to talk about, but hey, I just thought I was going to call it the Seinfeld stream, the stream about nothing. But, you know, we'll see who wants to come and find out what's boring. But I'm sure there'll be lots of laughing, lots of fun to be had. Yeah, but essentially, you know, we can talk about whatever topic that you want to talk about, anything that's on your mind. That is perfectly fine. Yes, and I keep changing the background of every night. I change to a different color because it's funny. I'm very much a person that likes that setting my ways, but then I also like a bit of variety. So apparently I like change if I instigate it. I don't like change if somebody else instigates it. Make that make sense. And tomorrow night is census night in Australia. We all have to do our census, so it's all online. So census night. So that's going to be a big thing. So the last one I had to do, I can't remember if I did the last one online or whether that was paper. The one before that was on online. I think I got an envelope here with it in. Don't give me stuff early because I tend to lose it. Oh, dear. So how is everybody? I know you're free. I know you're free. Plan to Create. So exciting. So exciting. I mean, I actually had somebody put on their Facebook page today that seen the country was coming out of lockdown. Could they from the city go to the country? And I went, no, the country people don't want anyone from the city. That was the whole point. They wanted to stop movement. And now that doesn't mean that the people from the city can, well, technically we've got a 5K limit anyway, and they go, but I've got a house down there. I went, so? They don't want you down there because if you have got the virus, you're going to take it into the country community, and you're going to lock them down. So I gave it to them. I said, it's those attitudes are why the country got locked down. You're hesitant to go anywhere? Well, at the moment, Chris, well, this is the thing. Our borders are supposed to be closed unless you're a friend of the Prime Minister or you're rich. But essentially no one can get in or out, and they're only bringing home limited number of people who are citizens. So we can't really travel. In fact, I think they said that if we leave, there's no guarantee we can get back in unless we're a friend of the Prime Minister. I know that's really snarky, but that's true. That's my fear. Plan to Create. People will do the wrong thing and you'll be locked down again. Because people are idiots. Let's face it, people are idiots. Not everyone's as intelligent as we are. I told the university today that I was going to apply to finish the year off online because I just I don't want to have to do this online, offline stuff. But then I've seen people that are advertising concerts and everything for Saturday. And it's like, even if we come out on Thursday, that's no guarantee that you're going to be able to have a full capacity. Well, we couldn't have full capacity anyway. But that's no guarantee that you're going to be, it's not going to go back to the way it was. People are just not thinking. So it was very interesting. So some of the university students that are in their early 20s, I'd said to them, because AstraZeneca is now available for 18 to 39-year-olds, and I said to go speak to a doctor, and one of them went to the doctor and has said that they've had the AstraZeneca and they felt really reassured by their doctor, and they asked all their questions. Well, yeah, Australia is off the limits. We did have a travel bubble with New Zealand, but that got cut as well. So yeah, we don't have a travel bubble with anyone. There was talk about having. No, I didn't see the interview with a lady with DID. That would be interesting because I have lots of questions. I don't understand it at all. But it is something that would be worth looking into. I know people want to travel. I mean, we have some areas. Western Australia essentially has their borders closed, so we even have trouble traveling around our country at the moment. So we can't. I mean, at the moment we're in lockdown, so I can't even go beyond 5 kilometres. And she doubted that was genuine. Yeah, well, interesting. The other good news is that Moderna has finally been given conditional approval, and it looks like there's 1 million doses of Moderna coming in the end of next month. So that's going to take some pressure off. Because I saw a chart today, and it said that to get to the vaccination level of where to be before to stop lockdowns will be late December 2021. So it looks like 2022 we might be able to start having a little bit of freedom. Told you tonight was going to be a boring stream because I've got nothing to show you. Oh, dear. Now, I've also spoken to my daughter about coming on and giving us some beauty tips. Well, no, not beauty tips, skin, because she's a skin, she's a dermal clinician. A dermal clinician is her official title, student dermal clinician. And so she's going to talk to us about basics of skin care. Oh, really? US is allowing... But the UK have got huge amount of cases, though. I tell you who else has lots of cases at the moment. Poor old China. I shouldn't say poor old China, but Wuhan. They've tested 11 million of their citizens because they've got a Delta outbreak. 11 million Wuhan citizens have been tested for COVID-19 in less than a week as it fights Delta outbreaks across the country. So they've had new clusters, 7 migrant workers. 9 people in closed-off communities tested positive. Local authorities said they've so far tested 11 million, nearly 12 million people, covering all municipal population except for college students who have returned home from the city. They'll continue to test. What is interesting, government-affiliated scientists admit the current Chinese vaccines are less effective against the new strains of the virus, but say they offer some protection. I don't know what China is using, but they're saying that it's not as effective. But they've got China's battling the Delta variant. So China's vaccines are less effective against the new strain. So as I said, it doesn't say what vaccines they're using, but it seems like they're using their own form of vaccines rather than that's just what it would seem. But yeah, they're struggling with the Delta variant. That's one way to do that. Look how they're doing that, straight out in the open. It may take 3 years. It probably will. It will probably take it will take a number of years to get control back. And then it's going to take years and years and years, to have some type of normality back, if there is such a thing as normality. Hey, the Fox. I was just talking about the fact that Wuhan in China's struggling with the Delta variant at the moment, and their vaccines aren't effective towards it. I don't know what vaccines they're using. And that we're getting Moderna vaccines, 1 million of them. Is it the same? What's Indonesia saying? Oh, really? They're saying the people that took Moderna might need to have a third one? Wow. That's not good. Hello, Shelley R. How are you? It's not gonna surprise me at all, to be honest with you. Particularly if the variants keep mutating, they're going to have to just keep giving boosters. Oh, wow. The lady with DOD had all her alters sort of controlled. And she said she takes responsibility even if she can't remember. Cool. Massachusetts has had some luck with Pfizer and high vaccination rates. Cool. I heard today that the vaccination clinics were swamped with young people. In fact, there's a drive-through vaccination clinic about 40 minutes from my place, and that is now booked up for the next week. Sorry, for the next month. That's actually booked up for a month. Yeah, they are. Indonesia's really struggling at the moment. You're right. They are struggling. Terribly so. Oh, cool. I'm glad that you enjoying the company. Well, the Australian consumer, I do have some stuff. Like, it's not, I just don't have, lots of fun stuff. Telstra, Optus and TBG, telecommunication companies in Australia, they've been taken to court by the Australian Consumer and Corruption Commission for allegedly misleading consumers over maximum NBN speeds. It's alleged that Telstra, Optus and TPG wrongly accepted payments from certain customers for NBN plans when they were not provided with the promised speeds. I didn't know you could get fast speeds. You don't like the idea of a drive-through vaccination? No, I don't know about it either. How do they know whether you have a reaction to it? Because normally you have to sit for 15 minutes and they're going to let you drive off. So it says Australian consumer watchdog, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, is taking Telstra, Optus and TPG to court, alleging they mislead consumers. The companies allegedly made false or misleading representations in their promotions that some 50 Mbps and 100 Mbps NBN plans in breach of Australian consumer law. It is alleged Telstra, Optus and TPG wrongly accepted payments from certain customers for NBN plans when they were not provided with the promised speeds. So there you go. Does our NBN go that fast? That's a question. The whole nation was promised we'd have fast internet. I mean, the ACCC should be going after the government, not the telecommunications companies. The telecommunication companies were going by what they were promised by the government, probably. I just find it quite amusing. Well, it's not amusing, but I'll keep keeping an eye on that and see how that pans out. But bizarre, hey? Government said that we're going to have faster and cheaper internet in New Zealand about 10 times. Oh, everyone's 10 times faster. Or it feels like 10 times faster. Let me just have a look. I'm just going to do a speed test, see what mine comes up with out of interest. Because it's not very fast. Actually, I should do it live. Then you know that I'm not actually lying when I talk about how slow our internet is, hey? I'll do it live for you. All right. Here we go. Look how... I mean, it is peak time, but, you know. And usually it says, sometimes the one that I use, and it says, your internet is slow. Oh, it says it's fast. Cool. I've never had it fast before. Cool. Now, this is the interesting thing. You know how I said, see, this has picked it up from a server in Sydney. I'm not in Sydney. So that's why you shouldn't always believe IP addresses. Why is it that it wants to make fun of me? I've complained about how slow the internet says, and it says that my internet's fast. It's never come up with fast before. I'll have to do it on a live stream all the time now. Government spying on me and says we're gonna up her internet speed. Oh, cool. No, did you want one of the flash ones, or did you want another Mickey one, Keno? Anyway, email me what if you want it, because I can do postage cheaper. So just if you send me an email, I'll work something out for you. But you need to get your dishwasher. Well, I don't know. I just pay a set amount of I just pay a certain amount of whatever they. For me, there's only one NBN speed. Like there's only one NBN. I wanted the black purse. I've only got the red. You mean the Mickey Mouse or the? Okay. Yeah, send me an email with what you want. Mine is faster than mine, isn't it? Cool. I don't really know what it means either, but usually it just tells me whether it's fast or slow, and it usually says slow. You have 5 oh, look, I've got devices right in mine. I know my son, he's a gamer, so I know that mine gets chewed up by gaming. Oh, wow. Oh, Branson, hey? See, everyone's got better stuff to the house. You're a gamer too? Yeah. I was talking to one of my teachers today. He actually did a law degree, and he did a law degree, and then he's a musician. He was always a musician. So he worked as a lawyer, decided he didn't like it, so he went and got his music degree, and he could teach anyway. So I was talking to him about the Friendly Geordies case and everything today, and he goes to me, he goes, he says, you're sounding like a lawyer. And I said, so he's encouraging me to go and study law next year. We can't watch TV and surf at the same time. Wow, life with boundaries. Wow. Hello, Nightbot. How are you tonight? Hello, Marmaduke. Christine, you became a member the other night, and I forgot to say thank you. I was just checking my analytics, and today I sort of do it. I do check it every couple of days just to see, what's doing well, what's not doing well, and yeah, I noticed that you'd become a member, so thank you. I can't see everyone's little tags on Restream, so. No, Thank you, Chris. Yeah, it's very much appreciated. As I said, I start very, very low, and it's just whatevs. I've got a funny, well, it's not really a funny story, but it's a typical Aussie. It's a typical Aussie story. So there is an investigation to decide the outcome of a Kimberley grand final officiated by a drunk goal umpire. So the Kimberley is way up the top of Western Australia. Wow, my magic. And there's been no result. So the result will be delayed until they've done an investigation. So they don't know who's won the grand final. They feel the love. So the WA Football Commission will effectively decide the outcome of the East Kimberley Football Club League grand final after the weekend's decider was marred by a drunk goal umpire and ugly crowd behaviour. The Ord River Magpies led by a point when the final siren blew on Saturday, registering 6-7-43 to Halls Creek Hawks 6-6-42. I see why there was 1 point in it. But Halls Creek officials raised concerns about the behaviour of the EKFL, East Kimberley Football League's goal umpire, who was subsequently breathalyzed by the league and was found to be over the limit. The East Kimberley Football League president told the ABC a complaint was made and the umpire and breathalyzer was used to verify his condition. We're pretty disappointed because it was actually a really good game of football, the best of the year. I've spoken to the umpire and made sure he's okay. I personally wasn't happy with what happened. As the result of the fire siren triggered chaotic post-match scenes, the spectators poured onto the field, initially in celebration, but the situation turned to anger. The EKFL appointee, the goal umpire in question, was escorted off the ground. After the game concluded, the Hawks lodged an appeal, leaving the full outcome and the premiership. So the premiership is like the grand final, dependent on the ruling of the Western Australia Football Commission. The Magpies, who are celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, have not been able to cap it off the premiership. Since it's under appeal, no trophies or presentation has been done for the Premiership Cup until the appeal's over. We're in limbo. Halls Creek coach Craig Dempsey said poor umpiring had robbed his team of victory, but you always say that when you lose, don't you? You can clearly see Halls Head Hawks won the grand final, but we've been unfairly treated. It's breaking my heart to tell the young blokes the promises that we're going to have to go into the grand final and we get a fair go. We put our faith in the league, we put our faith in the umpires, and they bring to the game a drunken umpire. He said the club would present to the commission video evidence filmed by fans showing multiple Hawk goals incorrectly judged as points. It wasn't just bad decisions, he wasn't in the right state of mind. The Ord River Magpies have been contacted for comment. Despite the scenes, Kununurra police said that they received no reports of assaults from the game. One move-on order was issued. One arrest was made for breach of that order, but that was unrelated to the umpiring. Craig Dempsey acknowledged a small number of Hawks fans had threatened match officials. We got video evidence of Hawks players stopping our supporters from trying to punch them, the umpires. There was a few of them. So commentator Tim Lees of Lees Media has reviewed footage he took of the Hawks shot for goal in the dying minutes dozens of times. He called it a goal until he saw the umpire's signal for a point and said it was impossible to tell from the position he was in. The only people that really know are the players. There are actually a couple of kicks at goal which were contested. There are a couple of different decisions. Both men agreed the situation was unusual and that it was marred an otherwise great game of football. Like a lot of people, we're all waiting with bated breath with how it will transpire. Paul said he'd not noticed any signs of intoxication in the umpire. I wasn't happy, but we're in Kimberley where everything seems to go left instead of right. So it's interesting that people were saying that they didn't realise that he didn't show signs of intoxication, but because it was a 1 point loss, the team that lost. want an investigation. So, I mean, the guy was obviously drunk. So now it's down to the Football Commission to sort out who actually won the game. What do you reckon? How bizarre is that? Actually, I might have to look at myself getting a counter portable dish because I don't have a dishwasher. I have a space for a dishwasher, but I'm in a rental, so it would have to be portable, whatever I got. Hello, everyone that's just come in. I called it a boring stream because I didn't really have anything to talk about. Oh, dear me. So, has anyone got any gossip, any news? I won't talk about the regional areas. Oh, I already congratulated on Plan to Create about the freedom. I guess you're free too now, the Fox, from tonight. Good luck to you. But there's a lot of people from the city talking about going down to their country homes now to get away from the city. It's funny that. Two double-layered cheesecake. Oh, yum, 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 yum. Oh, they need to hold off for a few areas, but, people are idiots. So I don't want to tell you, you'll be locked down again due to the idiots. Yes, so she's supposed to have filed a cease and desist. Has she actually said that she's suing, or is it still just hot air? I know she said she sent him a cease and desist, but we know that that's really not worth much. Just having a look at her Twitter. What did she have on Twitter today? Oh, she gave us a lesson on narcissism. Yeah, we've got a 5K travel limit, but they're going to try and use the thing about looking after regional property. That's how they're going to try and get around it. So her Twitter, this is the official one. Anyone else shop online for clothes and forget what you bought until it shows up? Then when you open the package, it's a surprise. Just me. I do a lot, especially when some things take a while to arrive. 20 years ago, I bought the same pants I forgot because I'd bought them 3 weeks earlier and they hadn't been delivered. I'm a doofus. I do it all the time because I shop a lot at night before I fall asleep. Well, I tend to find that she yaps a lot. I don't think she would have filed. I don't think she would have. However, she has been quiet this week, so you don't know. This weekend's been really ghastly quiet. All I wanted to do this weekend was to go swimming, but it rained all weekend. I hate going into a new week feeling like I did nothing fun on the weekend. At least my laundry is done and the bathroom is clean. Drunk shopping Plan to Create, Will says, being a shopaholic. Hello, Will. Was it warm and raining? I love jumping in the pool when it's warm and raining. Used to do it all the time as a kid. Cool. Nice. $75 for both. That's pretty cool. if everyone had a dog like Frida, they'd be a lot happier. I don't know where she got that from. I don't know who did that. Is that one of those apps that cartoonizes your pictures? And it says, sometimes I have to rewatch your commentary because I was watching Frida. Or a cat named Scotty. They'll give her a prize when it's a week. Yeah, some type of filter. Okay. I know on Instagram she had a go at a Bates because apparently he sat with his shirt undone showing his bare chest. She had a go at Duggars. I lost it. Here we go. Caught in 4K, a shirtless fundy. Lawson Bates had no clue. Then he realised and covered up. Really? Reality Instagram. And so, yes, she's got that on Instagram. Like, really? What's the problem with that? Then this was the last one. Narcissistic abuse is horrific for anyone on the receiving end. If you're being abused by a narcissist, there is help. Not everyone is a malignant narcissist or a sociopath. Isn't that what Todd Chrisley called her? But abuse by this group can feel like a nightmare to their target. Isn't that what he called her? I was going to say bed chest. Don't come to Australia. Oh, okay. It says that there's replies, but they've obviously been. I can't see them. But didn't he call her some type of narcissist, Todd Chrisley? We have to produce in the commercial. Oh, wow. Nothing about this chat gets boring, says Wind Whispers. Well, you know, Wind Whispers, I sometimes do feel like it gets boring. I feel like it's boring. So you might say to me it's not. I sometimes feel that I'm not giving you enough content. Oh, some of the stuff when elections in summer, some of the stuff people come up in is hilarious. So on this account, she's not done anything since the 7th of August, unless she's done a tweet and reply. Oh, I have learned I cannot control the actions of my friend's dad, who is under federal indictment made at her. Yeah. But again, she's saying, I believe that they're attacking her to get to Lindsay, but she has to. Oh, there was this one. This one. So Steve is retweeting one of his doxing pals. Thought you didn't associate with people who dox Steve. Shen is a bully. She cried when I shared her Instagram, which she had publicly. On Twitter, confirmed her model will use the names and hypocrites. Now, Shen actually was very upset because Katie Joy grabbed a picture of Shen with her son. And remember, we said children should be off limits, and she didn't cover the son's face. There you go. You showed a picture of a 2-year-old son. You are the biggest doxer there is, and Uni booted you for it. He only let you back because Script Show Art got cancelled, so his plan to leak her son's failed, so he's back to you, says somebody. But it was all about the fact. So when she says she cried, Oh, really? He lost his copy. How did he lose his copyright appeal? That's really, I find that amazing. Oh, it's going to get worse. I keep saying to people, if Google loses in this lawsuit in Australia, it's going to get worse. If it's deemed that YouTube is a publisher, it's going to have huge ramifications. Huge ramifications. I just wish I could get larger creators to, get serious about it, because I'm actually really worried about it. And I was talking to the teacher today. I said, I want to talk to you about something not music related, and I said it was law related, and he was saying to me as well that even for musicians, if it will have ramifications for even musicians if it wins. So there are big ramifications at play here. Mm. You're in Australia. Are you Marmaduke? Are you in Australia? Because I know that I know you can get a kitchen license. I know you can get a kitchen license for home kitchen, but I don't know. But you've got to show that you got to show food safe, and your kitchen's got to be immaculate, etc., etc., etc. You don't think Google will lose? Well, I hope not. What I've seen from the court so far, I don't know. I thought that they were going to not seal Porter's court documents, but they did. So, I'm obviously not a very good judge of that. So, who said, Christine, so if he's lost one copyright strike, does that mean that UniRock will now try and do his? By the way, Joanne, I don't have Discord open at the moment. What picture was that? I don't have Discord open on my laptop at the moment. I closed it all off. Oh, yes. Cool. I'll just do it. I'll just grab it. I remember that. Yeah, voting in Australia. I know how we all dress up very nicely. Oops. The other thing is, it's census night tomorrow. Oh, wow. You have to have commercial level plumbing? Wow. Yeah, I know somebody that was baking cakes in Victoria. Oh, really? She promised that she would sue him, as she promised on his live last night. Did she go on his live, or did she send him a message? Maybe it depends on what you do, Marmaduke, because I know somebody that bakes birthday cakes, and she just had to do a general kitchen license. She had to just get a kitchen. The council just had to sign off that she could do it. Okay. Oh, she did tweet that she would sue it if he appealed. Yeah, but as I said, she says a lot of things as well. Let's face it, she says a lot of things. If I had $1, if she did everything that she followed through with, we would be right, but she doesn't. This is a photo of people voting at an election. In fact, I don't know why these are actually doing that, because technically you're not supposed to be talking to each other. You're not supposed to talk. I know that that's a family, but that's how people turn up to vote in Australia. KJ is the queen of all talk and no action. Well, I mean, I saw that he was live. I was in class at the time, and I didn't watch him. Sometimes I go, oh, not a lot. John, how did you get the job, John? How did you go? Because I didn't get mine either. So I'm back to looking. Talking about jobs, my daughter worked for her new boss, so she worked for her new boss for a week. We're in lockdown. Her boss had afternoon tea delivered to her today from Uber. It was a mocha and a caramel slice delivered via Uber Eats to the house today. What an amazing boss, hey? No shirts, wind whispers. And the women that wear skin have skin. Did you see the bikini? Oh, okay. Yeah, I might watch it. Yeah, so as I said, she worked 2 days. She had 2 days work before the lockdown, and her boss sent her said to her she's got some stuff. She was going to open up. Seems like the power. Not sure she was going to open up with friends to test things out with her. But my area's just gone back into lockdown. So, all right. Well, the only thing with having the strike sitting there is that it limits what you can do with your channel, though. Hello, Bad Art Tangent. However, that being said, but there was a conversation between Uni Rock said that he was going to, on Twitter, said that he was going to strike him as well. I wouldn't put anything there, wouldn't put anything past them. And it's also one reason why I think it pays to sit in your lane quietly and not really try and draw attention to yourself, because that's what I like. John Green, has everything settled down a little bit now with you, or is everything still up in the air? Because I want to check in to make sure that you're okay. Because I don't think we've seen you much either, so. John Green, has KJ ever mentioned being angry about something when it's clear she's only angry for the sake of having an excuse to be angry? She's never mentioned I don't think she's ever mentioned that she's been angry, but I'm certain that she's always angry for the sake of being angry. That's just my opinion. Oh. Cool. As I said, I'll probably have to look at getting one of those, because apparently it's too hard for my family to do anything with dishes. Oh, cool. Oops. Well, I'm glad things are starting to settle down for you. So today, while I was in my class, my computer shut itself down and it restarted and it wiped all my passwords. And I cannot find my email passwords. And it's annoying me. So I'm going to have to ring I've tried to reset it too. I have to ring the internet provider tomorrow to try and get it sorted out. It's annoying me. In fact, that's not even that. Wow. I think she just likes being angry, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I've got a MacBook. Yes, John. It's the old MacBook. I think it just is not liking being overworked. Look, I haven't looked yet. I'm still saving. It's going to be a process, to be honest with you. It'll be a process. It will get there. And considering that they've just bought out a new one, well, Wind Whispers, to be honest, I usually have the same password but different variations. Is there the fox a way around it? I can't get it. It won't reset. It won't do anything for me. It's really, really annoying. So, but I've got email on my phone, but not on my MacBook. It's annoying me. Okay, so since she decided to be angry that can't use equipment he hasn't used in years, but I put boxes in the room. He's not angry about the equipment. It's more reason to be mad. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just a reason to be mad, to be honest with you. I think that's what she does. So this is what she posted today. I tried doing that as well, and it won't let me do it. Oh, you're locked down to the 18th, are you? Well, we're supposed to be freed on Thursday, but I don't think so. I'm thinking that. It just, thing is, the longer we're in lockdown, the better my defense is with the university. So this, it says, Katie and Jed spent the weekend in TN, is that Tennessee? With Carlton and Evan Stewart. Katie did some modelling for their boutique. During the day out to get their nails done and shopping, Carlton ribbed Katie Bates about wanting her nails perfect. Katie Duggar is clearly annoyed with Katie and can't stop rolling her eyes while shaking her head. I love a little funny shade. Whatever. I have a notebook. I wrote, the thing is, I wrote my internet passwords in the back of one of my notebooks, and I can't find the right notebook. I can't. It's really annoying. Then this one says, John Gosling is posting to stories. He certainly does not look like he's worried or concerned about Colleen. So Colleen, his current partner, apparently has breast cancer. Is this giving anyone Hayley Glassman vibes? He and Kate split. He started partying a lot. He was constantly out. He recently went back to DJing. Thoughts? Well, my point is that people deal with diagnoses in different ways. So I think someone says, I believe he's allowed to live his life. Someone says, that's not partying. Music Fest is a place where you go and eat and listen to bands. They also have concerts. So always looking for the dirt, really, because he went to a music festival, he's not supporting his partner. Look, as I said before, I tend to laugh, and it can be quite, people tend to look at me really strangely because sometimes I will laugh. And when I fell down the stairs, I actually laughed. You think they broke up, Christine? So it says, drunk Mary is my favourite Mary. Who do you think the trampoline peddler is? And then someone says, drunk, she doesn't seem any different. They always drink on Friday nights with friends. I thought they claimed they've never drunk alcohol before. Did I make that up? So I don't know whether she's drunk or not. I really don't know. Well, and that other thing with Fox, maybe his partner told him to go. Some people say, go. When my mum broke her ankle, one of the things she wanted Dad to do was to do his volunteering at the Rose Garden. She didn't want him to give up all of that because he was having to spend the rest of the time looking after her. He wanted her. I don't think she looked really that drunk to me, but hey, I don't know. But that's the extent. That's all she's posted today. It was a very, very quiet day. But we know it rained because she was going to go in the pool. So that's... Okay, so Barnaby Joyce is not able to go to Parliament. Can't go to Parliament because he's locked down. So there won't be any drunk... There won't be a drunk Deputy Prime Minister in Parliament this week. So it says Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce has been banned from entering Canberra to attend Parliament after he got caught up in Armidale's COVID outbreak. So where his electorate is in lockdown. Sorry. I just saw this. I screenshotted it from the newspaper. Mr. Joyce travelled to Armidale on Thursday with a stay at home. It should be stay at home orders. I wish they orders later applied to the region. As a result, he has been denied entry into the ACT. Which is in preparation for the console sale. Wow. EB Games, I bet they did. Hope everyone saw what I pointed out. Oh boy. And the thing is, I screenshotted it and I've shared it all over the place. And I only just noticed it. It wasn't till I enlarged it right now that I noticed it. It is the most appropriate one, isn't it? Yeah, well, they'll the bar won't be making much of a profit this week, will they, at Parliament? Oh dear. Now, the Premier of New South... It does, doesn't it, suit him? It does suit him. The Premier of New South Wales seems to be in a little bit more hot water, not just with COVID. She told an investigation, a corruption investigation, that she had no idea what her ex-partner was, well, her ex-lover was up to. He was up to the armpits in corruption, and he was married. They were seeing each other. And she denies that he ever spoke to her about his corrupt dealings. However, there have been new documents that she didn't shred that have been found, and say that she intervened in some funding. So New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian intervened in the assessment of a $5.5 million grant to a shooting association in Daryl Maguire's electorate months after he'd written to her asking for assistance to fund the project. A cache of new documents released to the New South Wales Parliament after a request from New South Wales Green MLC David Shoebridge raises fresh questions about the Premier's role in facilitating a grant that Mr Maguire stood to gain political benefit from at the same time she was secretly in a relationship with him. Short order cook, I find it very hard to believe that you would be in an intimate relationship with somebody and discussions wouldn't occur. Last year, 7:30 revealed Ms. Berejiklian oversaw a fund that set aside $5.5 million in grant funding for the Australian Clay Targets Association's clubhouse and convention centre in Wagga Wagga while she was New South Wales Treasurer. Mr. Maguire is currently the subject of an extensive investigation into his business dealings and which is examining which he misused his position as a state politician. Mr. Maguire had been publicly calling for a convention centre in Wagga Wagga since 2005, and after the grant was announced, he was praised in his electorate for playing a critical role in its delivery. I know they're showing, John, there it is. In 2015 election, Mr. Maguire suffered a 14.9 swing percent against him. Ms. Berejiklian has previously downplayed her involvement in awarding the grant, telling an estimates hearing in New South Wales Parliament, if you are suggesting that the Treasurer of the day personally signs off on every single funding allocation that is made, that is incorrect. But new documents released to the New South Wales Parliament appear to show that she played a greater role than she had previously disclosed. The documents reveal Mr. Maguire first wrote to Ms. Berejiklian on behalf of the then CEO of the Clay Target Association on January 27, 2016, seeking funding from the New South Wales Government. Ms. Berejiklian's response on February 18th referred to him to then Sports Minister Stuart Ayres. The Minister will respond to you on behalf of the New South Wales Government. Thank you for bringing Mr. Turner's request to the government attention. So there's a letter to Gladys. I don't think you have to be into it to share. Well, that's true. Good friends would share it. So there's a letter from her. That's a letter to Gladys Berejiklian. I object to them having the Honourable in front of it. That's from Darryl Maguire. And she's crossed, and here's the thing, she's crossed out someone, Mr. Maguire, and she's crossed out Maguire and put Darryl. So for her to change that so that it's more personal would indicate there's something more there. So on December 14, 2016, the Expenditure Review Committee reserved funding for the grant following the submission from Mr. Ayres. As Treasurer at the time, Ms. Berejiklian would ordinarily chair the ERC and take part in approving submissions from Cabinet Ministers for funding reserves. Anthony Wheely, a former Independent Commissioner Against Corruption, ICAC, so that's what ICAC means, and that's who is investigating Darryl Maguire at the moment, Assistant Commissioner, and the Director for the Centre of Public Integrity told 7:30 that the Premier played a decision-making role in awarding grants where Mr. Maguire was likely to benefit politically, then this could give rise to an actual or perceived conflict of interest. But on the face of it, it does raise a series of questions. 7:30 put written questions to the Premier about the ERC meeting and whether she participated in it, but she did not provide an on-the-record response. The Premier has previously said in questions about the ACTA grant, the Premier was not under investigation, nor was she adversely affected persons for the purpose of the ICAC investigation. No, her lover was. The record just showed that the Premier has been cooperative with ICAC investigation and is assisting it when requested to do so. As you have noted, ICAC led evidence from witnesses in relation to the connection between Mr. Maguire and the Australian Clay Target Association. That was not the subject of any questioning of the Premier. How's that for deflection? Ms. Berejiklian had previously said she did not tell anyone about her relationship with Mr. Maguire, telling reporters last year, "This was a relationship I did not share with anyone, not my family, not my closest friends." Well, he was married to start off with. Funds from that program were drawn from the Restart New South Wales Fund, which requires a detailed cost and benefit analysis to be undertaken after a business case is prepared. The documents reveal the government failed an initial cost-benefit analysis undertaken in April 2017 by the Department of Industry, scoring 0.88. All grants must receive a cost-benefit ratio above 1. The assessment was found to be highly unlikely that the conference facility will attract significant numbers of international interstate visitors to New South Wales, and concluded that the estimate number of international visitors to the Wagga shooting facility appears erroneous. It was then reassessed in July 2017 and scored 1.10, meeting the assessment criteria. And here are the documents that's been released. Anyway, there's 4 pages there. But 730 can reveal the reassessment appears to have been undertaken following a direct intervention from Ms. Berejiklian, according to the new documents. The Executive Director of Regional New South Wales, Chris Hangett, wrote to Infrastructure New South Wales CEO Jim Betts on 1st of June 2017, requesting the Clay Target Grant and 3 other unrelated grants be considered for approval. In that letter, Mr. Hanger wrote, the Department's Investment Appraisal Unit has assessed the updated business case provided by ACTA for the development of a large clubhouse conference facility and associated infrastructure at the existing Wagga Wagga site, following a request by the Premier. Weeks later, Ms. Berejiklian's interest in the approval of the grant was once again raised by other senior New South Wales officials. In a further email from Deputy Secretary of Regional New South Wales, Gary Barnes, on June 20, 2017, Mr. Barnes provided an update on the approval of the Clay Target funding to senior staff in the Premier's office. Mr. Barnes indicated the funding would soon be approved and then wrote in the email, just wanted to keep you in the loop given Premier's interest. Mr. Wheatley told 730 again, it just raises the question about the conflict of interest. Should the Premier be requesting this reassessment? It does strike me on the face of it as undesirable. Greens MLC David Shoebridge told 730, these documents show that her office was notified right at the outset in 2016 about this project, and she was kept in the loop. 730 is a current affair program. Detailed questions to Ms. Berejiklian about the request she made and about the nature of her interest in the grant process, but she did not respond. The Premier has previously told reporters in relation to questions about the ACTA grant, as I've said, and I'll say again, the Integrity Agency, if you trust the Integrity Agency, let them do their work. They had all this information. They've stated I'm not an affected witness, and that remains the case. Well, if you trust the agency, let them do their work. Wow, that's 5 months after Mr. Maguire first publicly announced the grant in January 2017, the Australian Clay Target Association was still waiting on information from the New South Wales Government about how it would receive the grant funding and from which agency. The grant ultimately provided the Clay Target Association was bigger than it had initially thought, of course, and for a larger convention space after its then CEO, Tony Turner, received a phone call from a government official saying an unidentified government minister wants it bigger. They obviously like things big in New South Wales. Mr. Turner emailed Mrs. Maguire on May the 8th, 2017, saying, sorry to be a constant pain. Let me reassess you. You're not the Premier. Sorry to be a constant pain. I had the Chief of Staff from the Deputy Premier's office ring regarding the grant. He said he would send the paperwork. I haven't seen anything. Mr. Turner continued, my understanding is that the money was granted to build the size of the facility agreed with former Minister Stuart Ayres. Behind the scenes, there was a flurry of activity with staff from the highest levels of New South Wales Government involved in securing a grant for the Wagga-based Student Association. While the ACTA grant was initially supposed to be a sports grant, it was then moved through an assessment process linked to the Regional Environment and Tourism Fund. How? Oh, no, guess what? Oh, guess what? We're now got a Braz link. Oh, no. Braz, man. Oh, no. He's got his finger in every pie. Yes, Will. After returning a cost-benefit analysis, I do want to meet Sutton or Jermaine. I have to. I do. I have to admit, I do. They're my heroes. After returning a cost-benefit analysis below 1, a staffer from Deputy Premier John Barilaro's office requested changes to the business plan prepared for the grant in a series of emails in April and May 2017. After the business plan was revised, it was then resubmitted for further assessment. It can be the pay finger now. So it was for further assessment, which according to the documents was at the request of the Premier. A senior departmental official emailed Mr. Barilaro's then Chief of Staff, telling her, please note the attached with extra info now over business cost ratio 1. Local member will be happy. A spokeswoman for the Department of Regional New South Wales told 7:30. The department assessment process is based on the project's merit. Ministers are not involved in the assessment process. Funding applicants often seek advice during the application process. Guidance is often provided to applicants to ensure applicants clearly demonstrate that a project meets program guidelines and eligibility criteria, clearly outlines the benefit that a project will provide. Plus, the ministers routinely request information from their departments. The Independent Commission Against Corruption was initially expected to move towards completing its investigation at the end of last year and notifying adversely affected parties. But after 7:30's investigation of the Clay Target Association grant in Mr. Maguire's electorate last year, ICAC advised it was undertaking further investigative steps. Investigators from ICAC have since made further inquiries about the Australian Clay Target Association grant. 7:30 can reveal ICAC investigators have contacted a number of current and former members of the Australian Clay Target Association. The corruption watchdog has also issued at least 2 notices to produce that relate to the awarding of the grant. In the event, the focus of ICAC's renewed inquiries is unclear, and 7:30 is not suggesting they are investigating the Premier herself. It's interesting they've put that line because it was the ABC that got sued over Porter anyway. They've put this in as their safety net. 7:30 is not suggesting they are investigating the Premier herself. In the event ICAC had concerns about Berejiklian's role in administrating this grant, they would be required to notify her. Ms. Berejiklian has said the Premier was not under investigation, nor was she an adversely affected person for the purpose of the ICAC investigation. Wow, so Bruz makes an appearance in that. Wowzers! What doesn't he have his finger in? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. That doesn't sound very nice. There needs to be a Bruz in there too. But anyway. Could Bruz have to face ICAC? Could Bruz get called to explain? Oops. But it's just interesting how when we've got this, sketchy dealings, possible corruption, there lies Mr. Pork Barrel himself. Mr. Pork Barrel. Remember, he says that his lawyer said that as long as it benefits your community, corruption's okay. So not only has she got the pandemic or the New South Wales COVID issue, she's got all of this hanging out of it around. I can say hanging over her head to deal with as well. And for those of you that are overseas, there was a classic shredder incident where some documents that were needed or required by ICAC apparently were shredded by accident. Actually, that might be a good... let me look up sports rorts. Maybe that is, because that would be around the time, wasn't it? Let's have a look at sports rorts. So, yes, there was a shredder incident. Documents got accidentally shredded. I swear these politicians think... I swear these politicians think that we're dumb. Just trying to see sports rorts. Blogger. Play target. That's right. The Wangaratta Play Target Club got one. I have to say, I can't recall all the time, because I actually do forget. I forget what I did yesterday. So I do have to say I do forget things, but so not only has she got the COVID situation in New South Wales, she's got Daryl Maguire's stuff, but it's interesting that her current boyfriend's an ICAC lawyer, which I find is a lawyer that specialises in corruption, so she might be needing his services. New South Wales MPs push back against the Premier. So her own party members are pushing back against her. So she's facing backlash from within her own party after she's moved to make COVID-19 vaccinations compulsory for construction workers and tradies in Western Sydney. So the government announced at the weekend that workers in 9 local government areas would need proof of vaccination if they wanted to get back to the tools. Construction sites will reopen at half capacity from Wednesday after being closed amid surging cases of Delta. Western Sydney-based Liberal MP Tanya Davis described the no jab, no job policy as an attack on people and a form of discrimination. She's predicted the policy would lead to a wide range of liability and unfair dismissals, and has drafted a private members bill seeking to ban a blanket mandate for COVID-19 vaccinations. So it is, isn't it? It is. Now, is she going to say, a short order cook, is she going to say that she's never discussed? Is she going to say that, when they're having their nighttime cuddles, that she's not actually bringing up the issues that she's got with ICAC? Yeah, well, few people have also talked about that, totally clueless about the timing. So no person should lose their job if they do not get vaccinated. A person may not be vaccinated for a number of medical, ethical or religious reasons. The member said workers in Western Sydney are being forced into vaccinations for fear of not being able to provide for their families. This is an assault on individuals' freedom and civil liberties. Yes, all right, see you later, Plato. I know, back to school tomorrow. That's good. So the New South Wales Counter-Terrorism Minister, Anthony Roberts, and another Liberal MP have also backed her bill. So the Premier's own party are against what she's proposing, and have drafted another bill. So on Monday, nighttime cuddles with a box full of folders and a shred of encyclopedias. Nighttime reading. Which one shall we shred? Some staff got blamed for the shredding. So on Monday, the Premier said she understood it was a difficult time, but the government needed to make decisions for the greater good. But the only way that they could do it is if there is a clause in there for people that can't get vaccinated. But at the moment, the bill states that everyone needs to be vaccinated or else they can't work. Construction workers and tradies in Maryland and Sydney Southwest had mixed feelings about getting jobbed. One man waiting in line for his vaccine told the ABC if it wasn't essential to his work, he wouldn't have got one, but conceded if it has to be done, it has to be done. Another worker said he was going to get jabbed anyway, but his friends were apprehensive. 85 to 90% still on the fence. So, this is the interesting thing. It's unfair saying that it can't be forced on people, but it's being forced on people, he said. So the federal government has said they're not making, it's not compulsory to get vaccinated. It's up to each employer to decide. But the New South Wales government saying we're going to decide for you. So this is Australia's vaccination rollout. So based on where we were supposed to be at 15.8 million. That was the target. We're sitting at 13.723, but based on our current pace of 1.3 million doses a week, we can expect to reach the 40 million doses needed to fully vaccinate Australia's adult population in 2021. And don't forget that by the time that we get to the end, we have to start doing the boosters. So, and they haven't thought about that. So, or the non-rollout, that's right. So this, Christine, don't we know it? Don't we know it? Hence why we've got the trouble we've got. So as I said, there's a million Moderna on its way next month. There's more Pfizer coming. So we are very slow, very, very slow. And in fact, the second doses aren't very high either. So there was a poll ran with no policy where they were petitioning to make non-compulsory for people who have medical reasons who can't do it. So the Prime Minister said the federal government would not pursue compulsory vaccinations, said businesses could make their own decisions. He said he's left the door open for employees. We're also low. Yes, we didn't order enough vaccines, Windy Whispers. There's also that. They were offered, how much? 5 million Pfizers last year and rejected it. I mean, the government's got no excuse. Well, that's right. There's so much conflicting information. So Mr. Morrison's comment has left the door open for employees to be discriminated against based on their vaccination. But we know the Prime Minister said some really stupid stuff. But they're saying that in the US, Netflix, Google, Delta Airlines have introduced vaccination policies. Microsoft wants to get their employees back in the office in September. So they will need proof of vaccination. So special accommodation will be made for employees who had medical conditions or other reasons such as religion. So the New South Wales government hopes to reach 6 million COVID vaccinations by the end of August, which would give it more options for easing lockdowns. The state has administered 4.4 so far. But again, it all depends on supply. And this was always my thing, is they're saying people aren't getting vaccinated. And it's like, well, you've got states saying we need more vaccinations. I mean, Victoria's getting another, it was 40 million Pfizer. 40 million would have done us. No, demand is exceeding supply at the moment. There's just not enough. So the states are crying out for more vaccinations, for more being so. But anyway, so late December is probably when they're predicting that the whole country is going to be vaccinated. And the government wants to get to, was it 70 or 80% of the population? So we're still looking at probably October, November, unless something happens. I mean, just vaccinating people with the virus out of control is not going to solve the situation. Late December of this year, yes. They're predicting late December this year, every adult would have been vaccinated. So we haven't even got to children. So we haven't even got to the children or the teenagers. We're talking about, yeah. Yeah, we've done 2 million. I think we've done nearly 3 million people, and that's with low vaccinations. Yeah, well, I know that lots of countries are sending stuff. I hope America learns from this that government healthcare is not a bad thing. Oh, I didn't know that Johnson & Johnson had been approved. So this is more stuff. So it says Moderna. So it says that the Therapeutic Goods Administration has approved provisional use of a fourth COVID vaccine. We've only ever had two. Two other vaccines, Pfizer and AstraZeneca, are already in use in Australia. So at the moment, it's Pfizer, AstraZeneca. A single dose vaccine made by Johnson & Johnson has been approved by the TGA, but has not been purchased to be used as part of the national rollout. With Moderna to soon provide enough vaccines for doses for 5 million Australians. But why, if it was approved, why didn't they buy any? So Moderna has been approved for use over 18 and over. So they've done a provisional. So they're trying to, their provisional approval fast tracks the use of a medication under strict conditions while the pharmaceutical company completes its final clinical trials. Yeah, I know there's been issues with Johnson & Johnson, but the TGA approved it. That's my point. Prime Minister Scott Morrison said the first 3 million doses were on track to arrive in September, and those doses would go to pharmacies. Batches of 3 million doses are also due to arrive in October, November, and December. However, those batches will need to be tested before any Moderna shots go into Australian arms. It's not yet how long that will take. So the TGA says Australians 18 and over can get Moderna. However, the federal government is yet to set any eligibility requirements with it. Well, knowing our government, they won't take what they recommend. Of the 25 million doses, Australia has ordered 10 million will be for primary vaccination and 15 million will be for booster shots. Oh, that's all right. It looks like they're going to booster it. Moderna's vaccines use the same mRNA technology as Pfizer and has not been associated with the extremely rare blood clotting disorder that a small number of people have developed after receiving AstraZeneca. Last month, the head of Australia's vaccine task force, Lieutenant General John Frew, and yes, we have an Army General in charge of our vaccine rollout. We've got the Army in charge of our vaccine rollout, so that if anything goes wrong, the Prime Minister doesn't have to take the blame. He blames the General. Said the introduction of the Moderna shot could allow younger Australians to choose which vaccine they wanted to receive as eligibility opened up. So it requires 2 shots. So it's is 94.1% effective, preventing COVID. Moderna says its shot remains 93% effective 6 months after the second dose. And ours is coming from the US of A. So there you go. So Moderna's due to come. They really kept that a secret that they had Johnson & Johnson approved by the TGA. I never knew that. I never knew that Johnson & Johnson was approved by the TGA. And they just hadn't ordered any. That is bizarre. Huh. I'm horrified. I'm horrified to find out. Because some people could have just had the Johnson & Johnson, and that's only one vaccination, isn't it? You could have been so much further along. Why am I horrified, Will? Because we could have actually, I'm horrified that the Therapeutics and Goods Association Administration had approved Johnson & Johnson for use in Australia, but the government didn't buy any. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, but that's only, yeah, but the Therapeutic Goods Association Administration would not have approved it for use in Australia if it wasn't safe. Like Moderna's provisional. You'd like to be on that account? I can see you. Yeah, well, and don't forget, government ministers have got shares. Some of the government ministers' friends have got shares in AstraZeneca. So they've been trying to flog AstraZeneca when there's been another option all along. So I just don't know. I know that Ash Barty, the #1 tennis player, she actually had the Johnson & Johnson. So I think we need to have a don't be a dum-dum party. I'm sick of it. Oh, I'm just I'm just sick of having to deal with dumb people all the time. And the most dumb people I come across are the politicians. So I've just asked, I just put the question on Twitter, why, if it had been approved for use in Australia, why didn't we buy any? Because we could have been so much further along, and I could not, and there is a chance we may not have been in lockdown. That's all. So anyway, that's what I'm just saying. So TGA is a big pharma. Yeah, it was fined by the TGA for FOSSA, and it's available in your not Australia developed. Wow. Yeah, I heard that they're going to start naming constellations. Well, all I know is that we don't buy the vaccines from China because their vaccines, as from their own admission, are useless against the Delta strain. So the last posting makes sense at all. I understood it. Anyway, so one of the trending topics on Twitter is Gladys must go. So it says, apart from her COVID lockdown failure, there are now another 5.5 million reasons why she should resign. Oh, yes. So this journalist today asked her about the grant today, and this is her reaction. Watch this.
Yeah, you requested a reassessment of a $5.5 million grant that Darryl Maguire stood to gain a political benefit.
Please stand back a bit, thank you.
Why did you do that? And isn't that a serious conflict of interest given you were in a secret relationship with him at the time?
Firstly, the proposition you're putting is absolutely ridiculous. And second, all proper processes were followed, and that's all I say on the matter. Thank you.
We've seen the letters.
I'm sorry.
You exchanged letters with Darryl Maguire about this project. You wrote to him, you thanked him for bringing it to the government's attention. Wasn't it a serious conflict of interest getting involved in any way in that grant process, given you were in a relationship at the time?
I refer you to my previous answer, and please respect this press conference. Any
Gotcha. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, Paul. You didn't respect the press conference. Really? Oh, you love our journalists. They actually have teeth. Respect the press conference. Must watch. So apparently 7:30 report did it. Gladys Berejiklian intervened in $5.5 million grant pursued by boyfriend Darryl Maguire, refused to answer questions. Gold standard corruption is what this one says. Berejiklian gets asked about her letters helping her boyfriend Darryl Maguire. She gets angry, tells journalists to step back and says she won't say any more, and tells him to respect the press conference. She needs to go. Gladys showing her true colours under some direct questioning about her corruption. Instead of avoiding this question, we'd like you to answer, Gladys, in detail. I'm sorry, not well and late to this, but did Gladys actually ask a journalist to respect a press conference so she didn't have to answer questions about giving money to her secret boyfriend? Respect the press conference, respect the law, Gladys. The question was not disrespectful, you are. If Gladys wants people to respect her press conference, she better start respecting her responsibilities and New South Wales people. Friendly Geordies says she can't continue to be Premier. Why did all the other journalists there jump in to protect guilty Gladys after a single brave journalist asked about Darryl Maguire? This is not journalism. Journos really need to lift their game at these presses. Way too often they give the poly the wriggle room to get out of answering a question by jumping in with their own questions. Proper follow-up is needed. Can I please say, please, I know obviously think that Gladys should be made to resign immediately. Rorts and by good COVID response, how much more will New South Wales take? The lines at Homebush Vaccination Centre are so chaotic, people are told to wait in the night or rebook because they can't keep up. No chance of social distance, unfair on staff here and citizens, sorted out. Look at that. Gladys must go. What a complete disaster. Crowds at the Sydney Olympic Showground waiting for vaccine. This is the 5:30 p.m. appointments. The 4:15 haven't gone in yet. No social distancing. Don't forget Gladys banned. Oh yeah, she's banned Michael West. She's banned Michael West from the press conferences. Yeah. Gladys is doing such a great job. I mean, if she hadn't brought in the world's toughest lockdown, the virus may have gotten out of Sydney and spread it all over the state. Oh wait. Because guess what? It has. Well, I've offered to send the stupid journalists at the Victorian press conference, Serena and Rachel. They can go across and ask Gladys because they're just persistent. They are just persistent. You know, they were saying to the Premier, you know, when are you going to unlock the regional areas? They've got, and he goes, well, have you seen what's happening in New South Wales? You know, they've had the virus spread to the regional areas. Yes, but we're not talking about New South Wales. We're talking about Victoria. Hello, the side eye. So this is the New South Wales local cases by age group. 65% under 40 and 28% under 20. This just for today. Isn't it funny? The actual total is 287. The published total is 283. I heard a few people say that they weren't getting the. Oh, not don't get rid of them. Really, Rachel was dating Dim Dim's brother. Oh, well, that explains everything. So these are the cases today. So 33 cases were between 0 and 9. 47 cases were between 10 and 19, 63 cases 20 to 29, 44 cases between 30 and 39, 36 cases between 40 and 49, 29% between 50 and 59, 16 cases 60 to 69, 11 cases 70 to 79, 5 cases 80 to 89, and 3 cases 90 plus. But they said it was 283. It says breakdown doesn't always match published total. Isn't that interesting that they don't actually publish what she announces is not what the true total is? I heard rumors about that as well. If Gladys absolutely seething at this reporter, the evil stare, if looks could kill, it was almost as if, how dare you ask me that? To summarise, Gladys Berejiklian can't answer questions about COVID because she has no idea what she's doing. She can't answer questions about rorts and corruption because she knows exactly what she did. Yeah, New South Wales are very, they don't like giving out lots of information. I'll see if I can find out for you. Percentage of cases in New South Wales. So how dare we ask? I know. Now there's New South Wales. Let's have a look. So in percentage-wise, 17% of New South Wales is currently vaccinated, apparently. No, sorry, 14%, 14.6%. Which doesn't really seem that much, does it? I think Gladys, I think she's so I'm just trying to see if I can find a stat. I'm having it really hard to find. An answer to that. Might have a look at New South Wales Health. COVID, no, cases. The other thing is they still have a number of people. They still have a number of people out in the community while they're infectious. I have no doubt these numbers are wrong and there is not enough information. Yeah, I was reading somewhere that New South Wales has some of the, because they only give anything after a certain time goes on to the next day's tally, where Victoria, as soon as, even if they've done their press conference, they will do another one if there's more cases. So let's have a look. Doesn't tell me. No. Doesn't tell me. It only tells me whether they, how many. So this is what they're showing me. So this is New South Wales. So this is until 8 p.m. So anything that comes through from 8 p.m. gets counted. Yeah, and so before the press, so that the numbers that they give are only from the until 8 p.m. They don't add any in the morning. So in the last 24 hours, they've had 113 known sources. They've got 170 from unknown sources. 2 have come in from overseas, 285. They did 133,000 tests. So the thing that is always concerning is the unknown source, because if you know where the source is, you can track it. So they've had this is their, in the past 24 hours, these are their doses. They don't tell you how many. Wait on, maybe we need to read this one. This will be old. This is a surveillance report. No, it still doesn't tell me. Oh, that's from May. Still doesn't tell you how many have been vaccinated. So yeah, no, I will see if I can find that information, but they make it really hard to find. So vaccination update. Yeah, no, it doesn't tell you. Oh wow, yeah. It's funny. I said about USA having to go into, some parts will have to go in after vaccination, and people weren't believing me. I tell you, I wish people would start believing me. Am I that unbelievable? Just because I joke around a lot doesn't mean that I don't know that I'm not intelligent. Number of vaccinated or COVID cases. Not giving me anything. I don't know, but I would be very interesting. I'd be very interested to know. The fact you are intelligent, people have issues with issues people don't like, smart people. I guess also it's why I'm a little bit of a loner. So this is like 9:40. This is 9:45. This is from 9:45 p.m. And Victoria's. They've already at 9:45. They've already given an update of. Oh, great! There's more. It's more. At 9:45, they've said that there are new. All right, see ya, John. That there are new. Tier 1 sites means that you have to isolate for 14 days, regardless of whether you get a negative result or not. So if you've been to a Tier 2 site, you have to isolate until you get a negative test, and a Tier 3 site means you just have to get a test, but you still have, but these are new Tier 1 sites. And this has been released at 9:45. Oh, we are spreading. Northland. That's east now. So we're going from west to east. Oh, Bayswater. We are. Whoa. And then you can actually put in your here you go, just so that you can see how much. Look at that. I told you, it's just so spreaded. Look at it. This is why we're locked down at the moment, because it just has spread. Whoops. So this is Victoria. Whoops. Come on, I don't want it to zoom in. I want it to zoom out. So just so that you can see, this is it's funny, this is the Sydney Morning Herald that's got all the Sydney Morning Herald has all the Victorian stuff on it. Work that out for me. So this is here's Melbourne. Here's the capital right here. So this is Melbourne. Okay, right here. So the first case was here in the west, Truganina. This is where the first case was that put us into lockdown. And look at how it spread. So we got west out here. So I'm out this way. We've got the airport. Now we're out this way. So this tells us that the Tier 1, so it says anyone who has visited Tier 1 must immediately isolate, get a COVID test and quarantine for 14 days. Tier 2 exposure sites should urgently get tested and isolate until they receive a negative test. Tier 3 is monitor for symptoms. So Tier 3 is you've had some exposure. So, and that's the blue. But that just shows you this Delta strain. How far west? Go west. Mountain. At the moment. On its way to looks like it's yeah, it looks like it's Melton was one of the sites, and then I think Hoppers Crossing or Werribee is at the other extreme. So, but yeah, so there you go, people. You're just getting a bit of a geography lesson about Melbourne, and getting a lesson about how COVID spreads, where the first case was, and how quickly it spreads. So that's why we're locked down. And this is, don't tell me Werribee. Whoa, we're getting close. Yeah, Werribee, it looks like. That's all right, the Fox. Werribee's not far from, Werribee's getting close to me too. So Werribee, he's here. Mountain here, and the airport. Do you have mountain folk that live up? Probably, but they'd probably live up here. So just so that you've got some perspective. So Melbourne's here. The capital of Australia is here. So this is ACT here. And then this is into New South Wales here. This is Wagga Wagga into New South Wales. And Sydney's there. It's about a 7 to 9 hour car drive from Melbourne to Sydney. You can do it in about 7 or 8 hours in the car from there to there. So as you can see, Sydney's so Canberra has actually is very cautious with New South Wales, and Victoria's on the border as well. Wagga Wagga, yeah, Wagga Wagga, called Wagga Wagga. We have some great. Remember when I first started, we went and found all the really weird place names. Wagga Wagga. Hey, this shows Tasmania and Melbourne connected. So Wagga Wagga. So this is into New South Wales here. So you're Albury here, which is in Albury in New South Wales. Wodonga's in Victoria. This is a border town. So they have what's called a bubble. So they can travel between the two. But yeah, but that's how that happens. There's Wangaratta. That's where that grant was. The Rort was. The Aroa. Puckapunyal, that's our military, that's where all the military training's done. And then we're at the west, so here we go. So yes, this is our active cases. So as I said, it started here in a place called Truganina. And that was our first case. And, oh, we've got one down here. Oh, I didn't see this one. Wow. All the way down there. So you can see how far it spread. So down here. From one case. And so it tells you all the, you click on it and it tells you all the dates and the address and the action you've got to take. So here, it's a pretty good, all right, see you, totally close. It's a pretty good system that they've brought in. So you know exactly, there's the address, what you've got to do if you've been in those days. I mean, Cook. Wow. Oh, that's the swim school. That's right. Yeah. So anyway, they're all. It's like dotted. It's like dotted. I believe McDonald's. Or one of the McDonald's was an exposure site too. Anyway. So anyway, I'm going to call it a night, everyone. Thank you for joining me on my boring stream tonight. There wasn't really much to talk about. Which was, but I've we've talked about a few things. We've talked about corrupt politicians, and we've also discovered that Australian politicians are stupid. But we knew that anyway. Do I need to say in my opinion, or can I say it was fact? I need to say so anyway, thank you for joining me, and I will catch you tomorrow. All right, see you later.